My name is Purva Gupta. I am new to this group, and I've actually done my construction management in my master's in construction management, and currently I'm in my fourth year of PhD. And I have a work experience of around 5 years in Indian contractor firms in the largest firm of India. And I have worked in a lot of areas, including preparing 3D models for coal handling plants and looking at the interdisciplinary issues with amongst different disciplines in civil engineering and mechanical engineering when it comes to 3D models. And also, I've looked into a lot of issues that come when it comes to the whole digital construction. And so, after getting all that upfront and looking at all the digital things that are happening, I realized that unless the whole contract management process itself is in line with what we are, when we are looking at digital project management, the two things need to run parallel, because the contract management process is still quite, older in its ways, and it has not come up to the way our digital project management works. So I'll start on that note. So the contract management challenges, which I understood with regard to, based on my experience and literature review, that the process is still tedious, administrative, it's still offline, and mostly there are a lot of issues with respect to claims, payments held up. There is lack of accountability with so much of digitalization happening. The digital rights and policies are unclear, and there is double spending or frauds in digital transactions. So I think you all know by now about smart contracts and smart legal contracts, so I'll cut that part. And as my supervisor used to say, who was an arbitrator for Supreme Court of India, that a good contract, like any good relationship, must follow the three principles, that is certainty, communication, and commitment. So based on these three pillars, I realized that it is essential when we look into the automation of contracts, these three pillars should not be left behind. So after looking into various platforms, I realized blockchain is one of them, which could help achieve that. So the part of my work is, there is a zoom in and zoom out. So zoom in is like a smart legal contract that is developed from contract agreement in construction sector. And then a zoom out is that the whole how that smart contract or that smart legal contract works on the entire platform or works in the entire system of contract management. So there are a lot of things that come into play when we look at that. We have a stakeholder network, which runs on the decentralized blockchain. Then we have in IoT, we have AI plugins. And so the whole system must be digital, decentralized, and automated for it to work. In order to develop that, these were the steps that I took during my PhD, that the system should be decentralized, it should be automated and digital. So I took a project that is dedicated freight corridors of India. So it is a huge railway infrastructure project. And this is the basic contractual structure of the project. It involves multiple stakeholders. So essentially, when I was working in the contractor firm, I realized that the contractor wants to control all of the data most of the time. So there is a centralized platform, everything is digital, but the hold is with the contractor. Now, there were a lot of issues when we used to go for client meetings, that the client also wants to know what is actually happening instead of what is being presented. So on that concept, I developed a blockchain network of these stakeholders. And in order to understand which stakeholder will hold what part, like who will be the admin of that blockchain network, which stakeholder will hold the account, who will be accountable, who will be responsible, uh, based on the RASI matrix, this is a responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed. For all of these key stakeholders, I prepared a RASI matrix with all the parts of the project management activities. So initially, I thought that I'll float this and from all the stakeholders, I'll get their view, like who thinks who is responsible and accountable for each of the activities. But the feedback that I got from all of them, it was conflicting. So there were some people who thought that they were not responsible for it, while some thought they were responsible for it. So I could not get a consensus on this RASI matrix initially. So then I thought, just for preparing my prototype, I took the contract and I prepared the RASI matrix myself. Now this is the blockchain network. It's based on Hyperledger Fabric. So this is the conceptual, basically, network. So based on these roles of the stakeholders, this network is being created where there are networks and sub-networks. So there is a whole network where everybody is a part of the blockchain network, and there are sub-networks within that. So there are times when the contractor doesn't want each information to go to the client and wants to hold information to themselves. So in that situation, there is a sub-network where contractor and the subcontractor and the designer are linked. Then there is a whole network. So some information will go to everybody. They'll be all informed, but not all information related to cost and everything will go to all the stakeholders. So it's sort of a hybrid. It's not a proper decentralized solution, but I think it works for the construction industry, as they are quite skeptical on sharing all the data with everybody. Now, these were the tools used in preparation. So there is, I found a Accord project quite interesting. So I use them because I could see that when I'm preparing a smart legal contract in construction firm, most of the people don't understand the what you call codes. So it's like if I have a smart clause which is visible and then a code that runs parallel, and whatever changes are being made on the code that are shown on the text as well, so the people would be quite more accepting towards it, because they're like, we don't know what you wrote on the code and we are not sure how it will execute. So it was, the industry found it more friendly on those terms. Then I used IBM blockchain platform. Initially, I tried to create the network myself on my own system using Hyperledger Fabric, but I felt that it was taking a lot of time. So then I went for a 30-day free trial through IBM blockchain. And once the trial gets over, they charge you a lot. So I stayed till the trial. So within that point, I finished this. And then this was a whole network that was created, the whole system that was created. And then these are the screenshots from the whole thing, from the prototype developed. And then this prototype was demonstrated and a focus group discussion was done with all the specific stakeholders of the project, that is dedicated freight corridors. And it's an infrastructure project which involved multiple stakeholders. And it was sort of, I sort of wanted to ensure that there is representation from all three, like consultant, contractor, and your main client, so that I could get responses from everybody alike. What are their, what they're skeptical about or what they liked. So based on that, the responses that I got were quite positive, and most of them do not know about it, and the industry is still, I don't know about here, but in India, the industry is still starting to know about blockchain in construction sector in particular. So it took them a little bit of time, but I'm sure they all were quite accepting about it, and they thought that this could be a good solution in future. where because the contractor was particularly okay with that there was some sort of data privacy involved in the blockchain, because most of the stakeholders think that blockchain is completely decentralized and every information goes to everybody. So that sort of helped them. So these were the steps in detail that were taken. There is a publication on the same in ASC Journal of Management and Engineering and in ASC Journal of Legal Affairs and Dispute Resolution. So in detail, if you are interested, you can read that. And so basically it involved these steps. That is, one was smart contract creation, then development of the decentralized network of stakeholders, defining their roles and responsibilities based on RASI matrix, and then import the smart contract package into the blockchain network, and then instantiate it. So after that, what I understand is that smart contracts require much more than what is just developed in this prototype, and there's linking that needs to be done through baseline schedule, through different legal clauses and agreements, payment execution, and project records. This is the architecture stack that was prepared that involved different technology layers in the smart contract development and the decentralized contract management. And one of the key things that during my research, I realized that this could be really helpful in dispute prevention. So, I mean, a lot of research has happened in dispute resolution processes in construction sector, but when it comes to dispute prevention by design, so like stakeholder management and dispute prevention could be incorporated into the process if we make everything transparent and accountable. So a lot of recurrent disputes, because there are certain, I have 4 minutes. So there was one time when dispute occurred, like what is the time for completion of the project when the project is given an extension? So the contractor was like, the price variation should be calculated from the extended time of completion. And the client was like, no, it should be calculated from the original time of completion. And that dispute kept on going. So if it was automated, if it was there, that what is the time of completion? And once it gets extended, the new time of completion would be what? So then such disputes could be avoided. Or like when a letter of intent is issued, LOI, as we say in construction sector, for starting the work. So once the LOI is issued, you have to start the work in say 28 days or 38 days. So there are times when the contractor feels that it should start on the 28th day, 29th day, or the 30th day. And there is actually a dispute on that. So these like basic nitty-gritties, they can be like the very small disputes which take up a lot of time and a lot of energy in the sector. They could be avoided if a part of the contract is automated. Now, I'll not say the whole of it should be as of now, but yeah. And these were the future avenues which I thought that stakeholder management could be improved. Certain dispute-prone clauses could be automated, and claim management. And so I have tried to automate a few dispute-prone clauses like liquidated damages, price variation, and I have not presented it here as it is under review. So hopefully it does come out. And thank you.